You're welcome. I need to write that last thing down. Oh,
Sorry. That was going to be your main topic, and then it sort of fizzled out, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Okay, so thank you all for having me here tonight. I'd like to give you an update on what's happening in the district attorney's office, and then also put it in perspective with the laws that we've been helping with just recently. So like everybody else, we are experiencing budget cuts. We're down about 15% of our folks, but the good news is we've maintained our 94% conviction rate, and we are still participating in the things that we feel are really important. And one of those things is legislation. So what I'd like to tell you about is first, the bill that relates to clemency. As you all probably remember, in the last hours of his term in office, Governor Schwarzenegger took one of our cases, the Nunez case, where the sentence after an agreement was 16 years that the judge meted out, and rather than go through the criminal justice process, went to the governor, and the governor commuted his friend's son's sentence from 16 years to 11 years. Oh, excuse me, 7 years. I'm sorry, 7, yes. And so the first thing that we did was to begin the legislative process, and we authored, or sponsored, I'm sorry, the bill for commutation prospectively. So this bill won't affect that particular case, but in the future, what it will require is that a governor, when looking into and making a decision on clemency or commutation, and commutation is just like a partial clemency, that he or she has to contact the district attorney's office and notify victims so that all sides are represented, so all information is before the governor. It doesn't change the power of the governor to commute a sentence, because I think that's very important. There are cases that require a look at it, and in most cases what has occurred is that someone has been sentenced to a long term, like in one of the cases, life without possibility of parole, but that was commuted to a term of life, which gave that person the opportunity to prove to the parole board that they had turned their lives around and was remorseful and that sort of thing. So there are times when it is appropriate, so we don't want to change that. But since that time, after 2008, Marsy's Law was passed, which gives the victims the right to also be heard in the process. So this new law says now that the governor gets to exercise his or her right to commute, but before doing that has to have all the information. And then in this particular case, we didn't know about it, the victim's family heard about it from the press, and I heard about it from the press as well. And it was a San Diego case. So this is really one that we put our full force behind, because it was so important to the Santos family who lost their son, and to the 3 other boys who had been stabbed in the process as well. So that's one of the bills that we worked very hard on. Another one is a bail bill. When people skip bail and go to another city or state, they don't always have to put up enough bail, and they then are given a date to come to court, and they don't come, and then we have to go get them. So it costs a lot of money for us to do that. So we helped sponsor this bill that changes that, so that the bail is raised so they can't fail to appear, and they'll be here, and we save thousands of dollars of taxpayer money. And they still have an opportunity to be heard in front of a judge. So that certainly was a good law that we worked on too. And even sometimes when you don't get a law passed and signed, good things happen. We sponsored a bill to audio conference for victims when they are, a victim has somebody in prison and they come up for parole. what they have to do is go up to that prison. So if it's in Northern California, we have a hearing in the prison. But in this day and age of technology, we thought it'd be a good idea to audio conference. We could probably Skype even. So the governor vetoed the bill, but by executive order, ordered the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation to do it. So we accomplished the results no matter what. So we have been working on a lot of different bills, and this the latest one, however, that I do want to talk about is AB 109, which hopefully you've heard about. If you haven't, you better hear about it because it's coming to a neighborhood near you. It is a bill that was passed and signed from the moment that it was taken. There was a bill that was up, the guts was taken out, and this bill slipped in, and within 9 days, and not the process that it usually goes through vetting, the governor signed it. And it changes the entire criminal justice system. So anyone that has what's called a nonviolent, non-serious, non-sex offense, and I'll tell you that's legally defined, so I'll tell you what that is in a little bit, can no longer go to prison. They have to be served their time locally in the local jail. So what that means is the jail, which is a main detention facility for people that are awaiting trial, is now going to become a prison. And they're not going to give us enough money to do that. It's a shift of the state budget problems to the local government to handle them. And it also means that people will be serving time, 12 years. Within October 1st is when it went into effect. So far, the highest is 7 years that somebody's been sentenced. But it's not meant to be 7 years. All the parole, most of the parole operation is now going to be handled by probation. Again, not enough money for that to happen. And our office is going to have to be involved in revocation proceedings, which was usually handled by the Board of Prisons. Again, not enough money to do the job. And if somebody gets revoked from one of those cases, they can only go to local custody, and they get a day off for every day they serve. So if you get a 3-year sentence, you only get half of that. If you get a 10-year sentence, you get 5 years. We're going to have to make room at the local facilities for a lot of these people, which means that those people that are pending trial are going to be let out. So the long and short of it is that we're in a new business, and those nonviolent, non-serious, non-sex offenses that we're talking about are stalking. That's S-T-A-L-K-I-N-G. I heard my accent there for a second. Sorry about that. Drug dealing, lots and lots of it. Identity theft, economic crimes of all sorts, vehicular manslaughter. Those kinds of cases, many of them are very serious, but they're not serious as defined by the law. And so we're all, we're lucky because here in San Diego, law enforcement works together. And so we have our steering committee that's been working on this for some time because our office has a reentry program that we have been working with the community and have reduced recidivism tremendously. So we're geared up better than any other place in the state to do it. In fact, we had a meeting today and we were talking about some of the issues that we face. Among them is that, people are being paroled to this new probation area, and they're not getting any services right away, and they're not showing up. And so they're having to issue warrants and that sort of thing. So we're working together, though, to make the best of this and to try and work on some systems of treatment and rehabilitation and accountability with the sheriff, with probation, and with our community partners as well. But it's very serious and very concerning to all of us in law enforcement and to the communities at large because there hasn't been a lot of fanfare, although we've been sounding the alarm for a long time. The good news, though, is as one of the things you mentioned was car thefts, automobile thefts, that car again.